Hello guys, and not surprisingly, the White House decided to cut off intelligence sharing with Ukraine. This was officially confirmed by the head of the CIA, Ratcliffe, and many other representatives of the Trump's administration. The reason? Ukraine is not ready for peace. Honestly, this is such a level of manipulation and lies that I don't know how to comment on that. And what is worse, all happens in the context when Russia is super weak. I'm sure you remember our recent conversations about the donkeys that perform various logistics tasks in the Russian army, about the scooters that they use, about the 30% of their oil refineries destroyed, North Korean soldiers ordered because they don't have enough people, and the collapsing Russian ruble. So today, I want you to be my teachers of logics and please explain to me what is happening, because no matter how I look at this situation, it very clearly looks like Trump is desperately trying to save Putin and is actually actively betraying Ukraine. Let's discuss what all of this means in the context of very weak Russia, rare earth mineral deal, and all that chaos with tariffs and disrespect of very recent and very faithful America's allies. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia, subscribe and please do not prevent us from defending ourselves, because this is a crime and this is a sin. Well, first of all, let's begin with the context in which all of this is happening. Russia is weak. Its blitzkrieg failed, and honestly, after 3 years of this very exhausting war, it was really difficult for them to continue. That is why their very real partners in China, in North Korea, in Iran continuously supplied them with everything they needed. Let's be realistic, the majority of the missiles now targeted on Ukraine are produced in North Korea, and I'm sure they don't count money or efforts they have to invest in that victory of the imperial evil. And they also had to order boots on the ground, and North Korean soldiers sent them immediately, all because Russia was failing to control its own borders and Kursk is controlled by the Ukrainian soldiers. They literally introduced donkeys to solve their logistics problems, because thousands of their armored vehicles, tanks, and other junk were destroyed by inexpensive Ukrainian drones. Actually, the majority of problems we caused them with our Ukrainian-produced weapons. We keep the majority of the supplies from the United States to defend the civilians. We mainly talk about HIMARS, Patriot systems, and HIMARS that we use to destroy arsenals. In the majority of cases, we don't have enough supplies, missiles, so that we can use them against Russian troops. We simply try to save civilians with all that, Ukrainian civilians. And in this context, with a partially destroyed Russian oil refining system, super crucial for their economy, Trump comes as a savior of the Kremlin. Most importantly, as a traitor, not just to Ukraine, but to Europe, Canada. That is insane. That is something I could not imagine. I knew it would be bad, but I could not imagine it would be that fast and that bad. So right now, the CIA director proved that the United States decided to cut off intelligence sharing with Ukraine. And I have a question, why? Journalists also had this question, and he said, when Ukraine is prepared for peace, they will get it back. I am sorry, we are defending ourselves. Please remember that. Please don't forget about that. We defend Ukraine. Russians can end this war by simply leaving our country, getting out back to their very big, actually the largest country in the world, where they don't need any new territories. Subscribe and share these videos to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine. Now we need it more than ever. Most importantly, even if we think that Ukraine is bad and Russia is good, there is no negotiations. The process did not start. All we see right now is constant bullying of Ukraine from Donald Trump, Rubio, Waltz, Musk, and totally no addresses, no demands to Russia, literally nothing. Well, they may say, well, they have some economic problems. I am sorry, we have so many problems, and all of them are caused by unprovoked Russian aggression. We clearly do not see any negotiation process, and still Ukraine is blamed for not wanting peace. Where did we demonstrate that? I'm sorry, the only thing that we keep repeating is that we want security guarantees. And here we come to the main problem. Because the task that Putin gave to Trump is to satisfy the Russian vision of the end of this war. They don't want ceasefire, they also want lasting peace. But in this Russian understanding of the lasting peace, they want a resolution of all the reasons for this brutal violence we witnessed for 3 years. And no, it's not NATO, and no, it's not territories, it's the existence of sovereign Ukraine. And right now, at a very high speed, Donald Trump is doing everything to first save Russia, save the economy, lift the sanctions, start the trade, legitimize Putin, take him out of his isolation. Do you see how many moral red lines were crossed in this less than 2 months? I cannot make a list because it will be very, very long. And then he also does everything to destroy Ukraine by paralyzing intelligence, by not stopping the weapons that were actually shipped here by the previous administration. They are on the border and they are for people, for children, not for targeting Russia, but for protecting our cities. I have seen what missiles do to Kyiv, to Odessa, once again, because Russia keeps doing it on a daily basis. They slow down on the front lines because they are weak, they don't have enough people, they have troubles with morale. And at the same time, they keep targeting with all the junk that their allies do not cut off, do not freeze, but keep supplying them like crazy. So all we have is a very strong, brave Ukraine standing against the largest country in the world, the evil empire that wants to cause harm to all democracies around the world, that has sabotaged your internet, your election campaigns, trade, used gas and oil to blackmail you. We have this brave country, Ukraine, that stands against all of this evil. And Russia fails, all because we are real people. We are really strong in our will to protect our survival, because occupation, or this blessed by Trump occupation, dismantling of Ukrainian sovereignty, will result in millions of dead people. I know that from my grandparents' stories. They were sacrificed after the Second World War in a very similar manner, when many good people decided to do nothing and just observed how the Iron Curtain dropped. But it dropped not just to hide a little bit poorer life. Millions of the best Ukrainians were killed during these decades of the Soviet regime. I could not imagine the United States being so kind to Russia, even before this war, because ideologically, historically, these countries are very different. But after witnessing all these war crimes of Bucha, of Mariupol, witnessing children's cancer hospital destroyed, after that, I think even those countries who were friends with Russia forever should feel disgusted. And we see the country. We see Donald Trump saving Russian economy, getting Putin out of isolation, and cutting down intelligence for Ukraine. What is the explanation for that? I need your logics in the comments so that I can, I don't know, find the straw that will keep persuading me it's not the greatest betrayal all of us observe online. Supported by super happy tweets from Medvedev, from Zakharova, this is their spokesperson for Lavrov. This is just disgusting. And remember that 6 or 9 months because of Donald Trump, support for Ukraine was halted. We all thought it was politics, pre-election campaigns, it was already very bad, but still we were trying to find an explanation when he was simply helping Putin. And a lot were lost during that month. We were too successful. We were moving very quickly in our counteroffensive. We could actually take all of the Ukraine back in 22, 23. So someone had to save Russia. To save Russia, stop saving Russia. That is the greatest sin and evil. And trust me, those nations and those politicians who do that not only betray democracy, but actually bring that evil back into their countries. It will hit back, and it will hit hard. Trust me, I'm Ukrainian, I know that. Please like the videos if you support my ideas and if you don't want the Kremlin to be the best friend of the White House. This is something I could not imagine even in my worst analysis of all that. So let's understand that rare earth minerals deal cannot be connected with sharing of intelligence, because cutting off intelligence or stopping the supply of the already provided weapons, it is actually a hostile action against the country. And rare earth minerals does not decide anything. It's about trade after Ukraine is free, and you can negotiate about that. But all of this conflict, all of this bullying that we have witnessed, very ugly one in the Oval House is, Oval Office, is nothing else but a smoke curtain. In my previous videos, I was saying it's a smoke curtain to hide that Donald Trump does not have any peace plan. But unfortunately, after this intelligence was cut off, I have a feeling that it is a smoke curtain to hide how effectively Donald Trump administration is saving Russia. The one that was using donkeys for logistics. Just think about that. They want to save this evil, agonizing empire responsible for so many tragedies, not just in Ukraine, in Georgia, in Moldova, in Chechnya, and trust me, in many, many of your European, American, Australian countries, and African too. And it looks right now, if we are realistic, even if we are not emotional, if we simply analyze the discourse, the messages, and the actions, let's think about the tariffs that right now the United States is allies with Russia, and thus with North Korea and Iran, because they come in this like happy package. Because we are respecting Russia, we are listening to what Russia says according to Donald Trump's administration, and they want to lift sanctions, they want to have business. And he actually may say, Trump, that Putin likes me. I would never say something like that, because it's just like say that Hitler liked you, then you're a bad person. That's obvious. That is very obvious. And another thing is that America, I mean, this like Trump's vision is an enemy to Canada, to Ukraine, to Europe. And honestly, once again, if we are realistic, listen to his State of Union speech, where he speaks about Canada disrespectfully and calls Trudeau a governor, when Trudeau is a good leader for his very strong, very independent, and very, very polite country. Hugs Canadians. And Greenland, this is the language of Putin. So how do you expect a person who speaks and thinks like Putin to stand against Putin? No, they can stand and hug each other. That's the only thing. Let me know what do you think about all that, and will this tariffs policy bring any success? Because maybe some people tell me that internal things of Donald Trump are really good and his foreign policy is bad. And I want to thank all the people who supported Donald Trump during the elections, but now not supporting his stance on Ukraine. Demonstrate that, leave comments. I'm very grateful for that. And trust me, your words matter, and the demonstration of your support can change a lot. It is actually the moment when I ask you in the United States, in Europe, in Africa, in Australia, everywhere, to stand against the evil and to demonstrate your support for Ukraine. This shifts weak politicians' opinions, and we need that. And a beautiful reminder to those who keep repeating we don't owe anything to Ukraine, apart from the fact that like we are your traditional ally and it's good to be friends with Europe because that is a big trade market and a very trustworthy and respectful countries. And because it's just like geopolitically, logically, plus you witness this biblical evil, crimes, children stolen, mothers bombed in maternity hospitals, and I thought it's kind of natural. But if it's about money, do you know that the price of the nuclear weapons that we have given up because the United States pressured on us together with Russia, once again, what's wrong? The price of that nuclear warhead that we actually offered to give to the United States, but once again, the United States relocated them to Russia. The price was $2 trillion back in 19s. $2 trillion. Can you imagine? And also, now they say we can be responsible for the nuclear war. We, the country that the only one on this planet gave up nuclear weapons for the guarantees. So look and see how they guarantee their support and learn on our mistakes. I hope this betrayal will not result into a global war, and we will remain strong with our allies everywhere in the world, including the United States. There are a lot of good people, and the Kremlin will not dictate the policy to the White House. Otherwise, the planet is doomed. Let's change that. Let's remain united and very, very determined. It is the time. Join me on X. I'm fighting there. On Blue Sky, our community is growing. On Instagram, Threads, and our Discord community is very warm and good. Also, we have a nice merch shop with lots of items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. And if you want that, if you want to demonstrate your solidarity with us, check it, the merch shop. You may find a lot of useful messages for your t-shirts, cups, and whatever you want. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. But most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. This matters, and right now this matters a lot. Slava Ukraini!